Imagine trying to extricate or free yourself from a very tight pair of wet jeans. Now imagine that your body is as soft as a jelly, and any bump could produce a tear that could cause you to bleed to death. Now you know what it is like to be a crustacean. Lobsters, crabs and shrimps are the best examples of crustaceans. Now lobsters are soft, mushy creatures that live in the hard shell that doesn't expand. And as the lobster grows, that shell becomes very confining and the lobster feels under pressure because they have an exoskeleton. Now this organic armor comes at a price. It is rigid and must be shed for the animal to grow and mature. Lobsters grow, but their shell doesn't. And at some point they grow too large for their shell and it becomes uncomfortable. It is too confining. Thankfully, instead of literally exploding from inside out, lobsters have mastered the art of escaping their old shells, and this is accomplished through a process called as ekdysis, which is literally means getting out in Greek. A typical lobster will go through this process dozens of times over the course of their life. After each cycle, the lobster comes out bigger, healthier and totally rejuvenated. And the entire process of preparing for, going through and recovering from ekdysis is called as molting. And lobsters grow by molting. This is a process in which they struggle out of their old shells while simultaneously absorbing water, which expands their body size. Now Rabbi Dr. Abraham Tversky, an acclaimed psychiatrist, explains that we can all learn a life lesson from lobsters. He said that while waiting in his dentist's office, he read an article about the lobsters and learned that they are made of soft tissues while confined within a very hard shell. Now, as the lobster grows, it experiences pressure and discomfort confined by its shell. So, it goes under the rock, casts off its shell and produces a new one. During this time, the lobster hides away in a crevice or a cave or under a rock so that they are less likely to be attacked and eaten by another crustacean or a fish. Each time the lobster molts, they are left vulnerable before they actually toughen up. Now the stimulus for the lobster to be able to grow is to feel uncomfortable. The rabbi points out, adding that if the lobsters were able to go to a doctor, they would be given a Valium or a Percocet, a painkiller, and never grow. The lobsters didn't look for a way to take away the pain of growth. In fact, it recognized the pain as growth. It did what was necessary to shed its old self in order to move into a new one. Friends, discomfort is a sign of growth. Times of discomfort are opportunities to grow. By running away from the discomfort, you simply avoid your opportunity to grow. Discomfort is a signal biologically encoded in the lobster's DNA telling the lobster something needs to change. The lobster does not shy away from the pain and becomes trapped in a shell case of emotion. The ache is not something to be anesthetized. It is instead a catalyst for growth, a necessity to ensure that the lobster lives a long, happy and a seafaring life. What we can learn from the lobster is that growth requires vulnerability. It's simply a part of the process, but ultimately you grow through what you go through, and the achievements or the end results are indeed special. Now the rabbi's key observation is that it's the feeling of discomfort that enables a lobster to retreat and then grow. Stress becomes the stimulus for further growth. And yet in modern life, we are taught the exact opposite, that we should avoid stress and discomfort wherever possible. Often in life, we try to make do with the discomfort. In fact, a lot of us condone discomfort in our lives. A select few of us being so accustomed to it that we reach a point where we enjoy it. It becomes our norm. We think we have reached our glass ceiling. We assume that that's how much we'll ever grow. We believe that we have reached our peak. It's easy to give up on further growth once we have plateaued, especially when we know that growing involves pain and discomfort. But like the lobster, our story doesn't end there. We humans have a tendency to grow continuously, inevitably becoming uncomfortable again. Now, growth and discomfort go hand in hand. As motivational speaker Brian Tracy once said, you can only grow if you are willing to feel awkward and uncomfortable when you try something new. Growing pains did not stop us from running, playing and growing when we were kids. You will experience a certain level of discomfort anytime there is a major change or alteration within your life. Friends, when was the last time that you were uncomfortable? If you can't answer this or you don't recall, then perhaps it's time for you to try something new again. Perhaps it is time for you to step out of your comfort zone and see just what you will become if you allow yourself, if only for a moment, to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. If life is going on too smoothly, you are probably stuck not being awesome. Learning to be comfortable with the discomfort is one of the most important skills you can ever have to live a truly fulfilling life. They say that if you learn this skill, you can master pretty much anything. Unfortunately, most people avoid discomfort and they run as fast as possible in the other direction. Everyone has felt anxiety or fear when they try something new or unfamiliar for the first time. For example, many people don't like the discomfort of shifting to a healthy diet because they are aware that it involves a diet of fruits and vegetables, raw nuts, less of processed foods, and it isn't as thrilling as eating deep fried, fatty, salty or sweet foods. Starting on a fitness regime for a better life does not involve incredible pain, but just some discomfort. Exercise can make you feel sore in the beginning because it is not something you are used to doing, and so you stop after a while because it's uncomfortable and you are not seeing immediate results. We avoid meeting new people, speaking on stage, letting go of abusive relationships, reading a good book, waking up early, etc. simply because it's discomforting. To grow, you have to embrace the discomfort. The transition will be uncomfortable and scary. To get comfortable with being uncomfortable, you need to follow certain proven tips. First one, just start. The first step is always the most uncomfortable. All you have to do is show up. The battle is half won when you just show up. Second, don't quit, don't stop. Once you start, don't stop even if you don't see immediate results. Just keep pushing forward. Don't give yourself any option to run away. Either you succeed or you fail. No excuses. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Whether your answer is self-pride, competition, or is it just a challenge, whatever it is, it better be powerful. Third, recognize your improvements. Track your progress. Enjoy it. Compare yourself to a time before you got started. Observe and write down your progress. The change you will notice will surely boost your confidence and enthusiasm, allowing you to face the discomfort you found hard to tackle before. Fourth, repeat. The more you perform the same activity, the more confident you shall become. Repetition is the mother of all learning. Finally, know that it's okay to fail. Fear of failure will make you think of ways to escape all that and prevent you from any sort of humiliation or embarrassment that you might face. Learn to accept failure. Take it as a learning experience. It's okay to fail rather than giving in to fear and not doing it at all. At least you tried. At least you learned something. That's all it takes. Sooner or later, your experience will help you and you will find yourself comfortable in an uncomfortable situation because you know that you have gone through it already. Remember, discomfort holds more dreams than failure ever will. Friends, you can either be comfortable and stagnate or stretch yourself, become uncomfortable and grow. Choose the latter.